What's the haps on the craps, chaps? Welcome to another live video, starting off our week right. Are you selfish for putting yourself before work, chef? That's what we're going to be tackling today. Very, very big one. And what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to clarify a couple of things. I want you to walk away from this video with clarity of mind and action steps towards getting yourself in the best place physically and mentally that you've ever been in. Now, are you selfish for putting yourself before work? I was talking to Peter, who's one of the chefs in the Elite, who I do the podcast with, and he was talking to me about a guy who he does contract catering with. And this chef who's been in the industry for 25 years, had reached burnout. You know what I mean? He had reached burnout completely, and he fell off the fucking rails, and he was in a very, very bad place physically and mentally. So we decided for a short period of time that he was going to jump in to do contract catering, which was the hours I think were 7 to 3, which are very manageable for a lot of chefs, you know, those kind of hours. And throughout this process, after 2 or 3 weeks of it, he said, I'm going to go back into the restaurant. You know, I'm going to go back into the restaurant, and I'm going to go back straight into the fucking 80 to 90 hour weeks. I'm going to go straight back into the absolutely annihilating myself, working every weekend, bank holiday you can possibly do. Not seeing my family anymore, not seeing the fucking kids anymore, not seeing, you know, anything personal anymore. That's what that chef made the decision to do. And Peter, in his own mind, was like going, well, are you not enjoying having more free time to yourself? You're not enjoying, you know, not having your head totally melted and stressed all the time. He's like, yeah, I suppose, but like, it has to be done. And in that phrase he said, it has to be done, was a very interesting one for me and something I thought about. And it's like, fuck. So many chefs are conditioned, really conditioned, and myself included, to, and this is a funny one, to almost not enjoy life. You know, not enjoy life, being straight up and honest with it. I know for myself, and this chef especially, of thinking that, sure, you know, I've had this period of time where I've had more time to myself, but fuck it, that can't last forever, can it? Nah, fuck it, I'm going to go straight back into the absolute trenches and destroy myself. And it had me thinking, and I just wrote an email about it. And it's a mindset that the industry gives to you, right? That you must 110% focus on your craft. Nothing comes above the team. You must sacrifice, you must give up time, you must give up energy, you must fucking give up everything that you have to make it happen as a chef. Now, I agree there's 100% a time and a place for focus. There's a time and a place to put your fucking head down and get it done. There's a time and a place to make a push on something, to get something over the line. Whether that be getting yourself to a certain level, developing a skill set, building a new restaurant and getting it up and going. Sergio, Dino, what's happening, boys? And anyone else that's jumping on here live. You know, there is a time and a place for focus. However, for the good majority of chefs, it's not about time and a place. Most chefs will have that mindset for 15, 20, 30 years. And some of the chefs watching this live can attest to that. And what I will say to you, and what is an absolute fact, is that if you have work as a number one priority for 20 to 30 years, you are setting yourself up for gigantic amounts of personal issues. And it's a mindset that isn't your fault, because you do it on autopilot. I used to do it on autopilot. And you end up with a huge amount of fucking issues personally. And those issues personally will amount to this. When you apply all your time and all your effort into work, what do you think happens to a relationship? What do you think happens, you know, if you're a father or you're a mother? What happens on that side of things? You know, what happens in your personal life, you know, your social life? What happens to the things that you'd like to achieve in your personal life? Well, they go by the wayside. They're fucking non-existent. You know what I mean? They don't get done. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And that is a mindset, first and foremost. It is a reality that work requires a lot of hours of you, but the priority thing is a mindset. Jim, what's happening? And when I say it's a mindset, I said it's a programming that every chef is fucking led to believe. And the only way around it is that you must break the cycle. And unfortunately for a lot of chefs, the only way they break the cycle is that they experience so much fucking pain that there's no other choice. There's no other choice. You know, when you're down and out, you're fucking depressed, and you've got all these bad habits, and you've got addictions, which a lot of us have developed, you know, whether that be cigarettes, whether that be booze, whether that be drugs, shit food, general debauchery, You know, you end up with all these habits and you end up being totally fucking lost, and maybe you're that many years into the industry where you've given everything you have and you've fuck all to show for it, no money. You know, that restaurant you thought you were going to open didn't fucking get there across the line. You got in your own way. You know, the things that you were working so hard to gain never actually materialized. They never manifested. And now you're left in a place where you're lost and you're stuck in that fucking rut. And that's where so many chefs end up. And unfortunately, we, especially with young chefs, you grow up and obviously you should always shoot for the stars, absolutely 100%. But you look at the 0.1% of chefs and then you're going, well, that's what my life's going to be like when I bury myself. And it never is. You know, well, not that it never is, but the majority of times it isn't. You know, it's like for a lot of us, you know, you're not going to, Netflix isn't going to do a fucking episode of Chef's Table on you, you know, and that's the reality. Hopefully it does, maybe it does, but it's the very, very slim chance that it does. But think about how much you have given of yourself for that, you know what I mean, for the goal, for your career and for those things. I'm here to tell you that, and from every chef that I've coached and spoke to and had any kind of involvement with, you know, if you stay on this path, if you stay on that path of just annihilating yourself, and think of that chef I mentioned at the very beginning of the video where he was doing contract catering and he was going, oh, this is actually a much nicer way of life for me, you know, I'm actually living my life now. And then he decided to bury himself back in the 80, 90, 100-hour weeks again. And he just thought, well, that's just what I'm supposed to do. You know, think back to that example. If you end up on that road for long enough, you are going to end up destroyed at some point along the line. You know, any one of us can attest to that, where you've been burnt out, whether you've been fucking depressed, whether your mental health has gone and had a serious issue, whether your physical health has gotten to a point where you're questioning your longevity. And you're like, fuck, can I keep cooking if I'm at this weight? Can I keep cooking if I'm struggling with my energy levels like this? You know, can I hold my relationship and my family together, or my future with my family together, if I keep going like this physically? The answer is no. That's the fucking reality. The answer is no, you know, and there's a couple of steps that I will guide you through and that I want you to start thinking about. The first thing is that you must prioritize yourself, and you must understand why you need to prioritize yourself. So I always suggest with every chef that you do an audit. Like, look at the facts. What are the facts around your body, your mind, your career, and your relationship right now? Like, where is the fucking gap? And a lot of the times, like, I've got a serious problem in my relationship. I've got serious problems physically where I don't have any confidence. Mentally, I go through bouts of depression and anxiety. And in work, I'm stressed as fuck. Okay, cool. Well, at least by laying those cards out on the table, we see what it is. And you know what the play is to go with next. After you go through that audit, then it's about structuring things. You know, it's a mindset. So the clarity that you get from auditing your life gives you that mindset of going, maybe I need to fucking pull a couple of things together. Once you understand that you need to pull a couple of things together, then how do you actually do that? Well, the steps from there are to ultimately structure everything. Structure everything. Even if there is very little time, you must structure things. So prioritizing exercise and nutrition on a weekly basis, and then organizing days off using mise en place. So you think about mise en place, having your prep list going, setting up your section, and you're doing that with the mind of getting through a service smoothly and then breaking it down afterwards. Well, think about a day off in the same fashion. It's like, what happens if you had that list out and you're like, what things do I need to get done today? What way am I setting it up? And go about your day with that mindset. Even if you're tired and you don't get everything done on the list, at least you've done something. You put your head on the fucking pillow that night and you feel satisfied with where you're at. Once we have the structure nailed down, then it's about accountability and support. You know, for a lot of chefs, they don't have a support system. They don't have a network. They don't have people they can fucking talk to or rely on or fucking, you know, give them a shout if they need something. And that's why you need people around you, you know. So I always say to every chef, you must change the environment. Surround yourself with other chefs who are going through the same thing as you, who are also sharing the same mindset and goals as you. And that will lead to you having more accountability, where if you get complacent, you get called out. Whereas if you're lacking a motivation and you're feeling down, they pick you up and they drive you forward. And when you have those 3 steps in that sequence, all of a sudden, having a balance between work and personal life stops becoming an issue. You know, having decent health and being able to work full time stops being an issue. I'm not here to tell you that you should quit your job, but I am here to tell you that you shouldn't kill yourself for no reason. You shouldn't kill yourself for someone else's gain. Somewhere along the line, you have to be put first. And the reason that you have to be put first is not only for your own happiness and your own longevity, but for the people who fucking rely on you in your life. You know, like if you've got a family, if you're in a relationship, or you're looking to start a family, or you're looking to start a relationship, regardless, you know, by putting yourself first, you open yourself up to the possibilities and the positives within that. And if you don't, then all of a sudden things will go to shit. So as I said, you don't need to quit your job, but we need to look at the situation. We need to make it better, chef. That's what I always suggest to all of you. So if any chef is watching this, obviously there's a couple of the lads in this, Sergio, Jim, Clint, Dino. These guys have been in the elite. They've made that change. They've made that jump. Chefs, if you haven't made the jump yet, have a look at the link in the caption if you want to apply to join us. And if you enjoyed the video, regardless of all of that, give us a thumbs up to support the page and make sure the message gets out to as many chefs as possible. Anyway, for all you guys, big week ahead. Much love. Chat to you all soon. Stay safe.